Let's look at some common electrical and electronic symbols. Electrical and electronic circuit symbols are used for drawing schematic diagram. The symbols represent electrical and electronic components. Now, a schematic diagram is really a diagram that does not look in any way like the real life component that they represent. Alright? So, common electrical symbols. Electric wire, that's just a line. Conductors, connected. Here you will have a dot that represents the connections. You have wires not connected, you don't have a dot, or you have this curve which is a jump over, one wire jumping over the other, they're not connected. The single pole, single throw toggle switch, this represented is the switch that you hold and pull up and down, push up, pull down. It's the one that you push on the handle of it. It's the common switch that you use to turn on and turn off your bulbs. Single pole double throw switch, toggle switch. This one is not the usual type. You can switch between one circuit and the other with this. The push button switch normally open. With this one, it doesn't conduct. When you push down the button with your finger, then it conducts and you might see a motor running. It might lift something or pull an object, or you might have a bulb light as well. When you lift your finger off the button, a spring pushes it up and disconnects the circuit. The normally closed push button switch, this is a symbol. This is normally conducting electricity. When you push down with your finger on the button, it opens the circuit and disconnects it. When you lift your finger, a spring pushes the button back up and connects the circuit again. Alright, this is a dip switch, right? Single pole, single throw relay. These type of things you'll get more familiar with as you study electrical engineering some more. This is a ground, earth ground. This represents the earth ground. You as an electrician would buy maybe a 6 foot, some of them are 4 feet, 6 or 8 foot ground rod, which is a copper rod. It looks like a bar of building steel, but it's smooth and it's pointed. And you use a sledgehammer to drive it down into the ground and then connect the ground wire to it by a clamp, right? The chassis ground means the shell. It could be the shell of the appliance, like the metal shell of an electric stove or a washing machine, and it must be grounded. Alright, this wire, this is a resistor. This represents a resistor. This is a more common type of representation of a resistor. This is the IEEE representation. That's the Institute of Electrical, Electronic Engineers. This is the IEC representation, the International Electrotechnical Commission. You have the potentiometer, which is a variable resistor with 3 connections, right? The more common one is the IEC. Then you have the variable resistor, right? Electronic components, the photoresistor. This is used in the automatic street lights. When I say automatic, basically just about all of them are automatic. When it gets dark, it turns the light on. When you have daylight, it turns it off automatically. You do have some automatic night lights that you can buy, which uses it as well. You can plug it into your wall. In the days, you don't have any light coming from it, but when it gets dark, the photo resistor detects the light and it turns on the night light. The capacitor is used to store electric charge, just like a battery, but it doesn't store where the amount of energy that a rechargeable battery can store, right? And you have the polarized capacitor, where the one that is not polarized, it doesn't matter which terminal you connect to the battery to charge it, but this one, it has a positive and negative terminal. Alright? Electrolytic capacitor means it uses an electrolyte, which is a chemical. This one could be air or paper or some other material between the plates. You have the variable capacitor. The variable capacitor can be used to select radio stations where you turn the knob on the radio. Right? The variable resistor adjusts the volume of the radio, while the variable capacitor selects and tunes in station, a particular radio station, and tunes out other station. This is a symbol for an inductor, which is a coil of wire. In this case, you have a piece of iron inside a coil of wire. So you represent the iron by these two bars, and then you have the variable inductor, right? The power supply symbols, you have voltage source and current source. Now, you have the AC. This represents alternating current. This represents direct current up here. The circle with the G represents a generator, and when you have M, it will represent a motor. This is a single cell, and then you have the battery. This consists of more than one cells connected in series here. We're just looking at the most common ones: voltmeter, ammeter, ohmmeter, wattmeter. So the circle having V for volt, A for amp, the omega symbol, Greek letter, the last letter of the Greek alphabet for ohm, and W for watt. Now, of course, you have all of that in one meter that you refer to as a multimeter, and then you turn a knob to select which one you want, whether volt, to measure volt, amps, or resistance. And you have the light bulb. You can have any of these three symbols for a light bulb, but this one is used commonly on electrical drawings for buildings, right? The diode, it allows current flow in one direction only. You have on the left the anode going into the arrow, and out of the arrow is what is called a cathode, right? Conventional current flow would flow from left to right. Now, the Zener diode allows current in one direction, but also can flow in the reverse direction when you have the voltage above what is called a breakdown voltage, right? Alright, so these are various types of diodes. The transistors, these are electronic now, NPN and PNP transistors. Now, the motor, circle with an M in it, and then you have a transformer, right? It changes voltage from high to low or low to high. When it goes from high to low, it's a step down transformer. From low to high, it's a step up transformer. The transformer basically changes voltage, right? Step it up or step it down. the fuse. Fuse disconnects when current goes above a threshold. When the current is too high, a fine wire in it melts to show that the current is too high. You correct the problem that caused the high current and put in a new fuse. Bus is really a conductor. The bus bar is really a big conductor, right, that carries a large amount of current to various circuits. A loudspeaker, microphone, amplifiers, and so on, right? So these are various electronic symbols. But those that I spoke specifically about are the more common ones and the ones that you will be looking at in your level 2 course. Alright, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.